Carson on the left for Darryl Stanley, his first game since March the 3rd at home against Buffalo, and only the 4th in the entire second half of the season. Bridgman will start off along with Kumpel on one side, Probert on the other, defensively Veach. And Dave Lewis, wearing number 52, was honored just prior to faceoff for becoming the 58th player in league history to play 1,000 games. Now Higgins penetrates over the line, tries his shots, deflected off the glass to the right of Hextall. The deflection made by Marsh, and Carson brings it up to 7. He chops it in through past Probert, slowed up in his pursuit behind the Detroit net by Dave Lewis. Puck kicks back to Samuelson at the point. He's on with Marsh, and again Stanley up front with Tocchet and Carson. Now Darryl Stanley working with Tocchet along the offensive right side. A dump and kicks off a bite, and he is sent to center ice, poked away from Probert and to Stanley, then to Carson, and he drills it off the leg of the linesman on that side, Mark Vines. Puck up for grabs at center ice. Blocked away from Probert, set in and all the way around behind Hextall by Bridgman as the Red Wings change. Coming out there now at center ice, Sean Burr along with Ashton as penetrating Philadelphia as Mellanby on along with Craven, and on the left wing side Craig Berube. But the Red Wings, Norwood back on the defense now, works it up on the left side. Norwood and Zombo, and they try to play through along the near wing for Brent Ashton, but the play is stopped, and we get a call with 1:08 gone, scoreless first period.
Scratch tonight for Philadelphia: Ron Sutter, Ed Hospodar, Dave Brown, Ilka Sinisalo, and Peter Zezel. Detroit see a player with that ability. Of course, he's really only come into his own as an offensive player in the last couple of years.
I think he started with Vancouver, wound up in Colorado with a Lanny McDonald trade, and all around, then eventually Quebec, and then Quebec in that big trade here that sent Ogrodnik to the Nordiques. Play at center ice put in by defenseman Lee Norwood, who had one of the goals, one of the 3 power play goals Saturday. There's a check against Berube. Shot from the blue line, cut off nicely by the Flyer defense. That was generated by Zombo. Puck kicked around behind the Philadelphia net by Ashton. Flyers try to come up along their right wing side. Mellanby has trouble handling the puck, and in doing so takes a bump from Ashton as the puck comes to center ice. Then boom, Mellanby is hit high by Burr. Turns him around as the Flyers drill one from center ice Craven, and it's picked off by Norwood. Boy, you get a high level of intensity generating from this crowd of near 20,000. That should manifest itself in the play of both teams. Zombo leading the charge up through to Ashton, but offside on the right wing was Joe Kocur, and we get a stoppage of play. 1:50 gone. First period, no score. The Flyers have the only shot.
Ashton, again, as we talked about, he played in New Jersey, played in Minnesota, Quebec, and now here. And a surprising trade on the part of Quebec, I think, getting rid of Brent Ashton, who is such a big goal scorer and really came into his own as a goal scorer with the Nordiques. Kocur, one of the tough guys for Detroit, as you can tell by his penalty minutes, 264. I think you might see some action out of Joey Kocur tonight, and possibly the new chief, Craig Berube.
Boy, both teams have their potent offense out there. Yzerman with Gallant and Barr, and the Flyers, Poulin, Kerr, and Prop. The defense, McCrimmon and Howe. For Detroit, they have Gilbert Delorme and Mike O'Connell, who, along with Brad Marsh, the only unhelmeted players on either club. Puck comes to center ice, drifted in about waist high, grabbed by Stefan, tried to clear it out. Philadelphia picks it off in front, and they had Poulin on the forehander, Kerr on the backhander, just eluded both. Kicks around behind the Detroit net, where it's poked away from the forechecking Prop by Delorme, and up on the left side, here comes Dave Barr at the Flyer line. Just dumps it into the offensive left corner. Poulin kicks it away from the on-charging left winger on the Red Wings, and the Flyers play Prop to center ice. Drills it into the offensive corner, comes out, and it's shot out of the rink, and that's an automatic penalty against Greg Stephan, and the Flyers will get a power play. You don't even have to wait for the referee to call that. No score early first period from Detroit.
Time of the penalty, 2 minutes, 25 seconds. Stephan, 2 minutes for delay of game. Time of the penalty, 2:25.
Well, the penalty that's a bugaboo to me, Gene, is that automatic call of delay of the game. The puck's rolling. When he tries to clear it off the glass, of course, it goes up over the glass without it touching anything or anybody. And he'll pick up the delay of the game call at 2:25.
Flyers are just 2 for 15 on the year against the Red Wings on the power play, and Philadelphia only 64 on the year, and it's their lowest total in 8 years. Philadelphia behind the net. McCrimmon sneaks out. He's on with Howe, and up at center ice, Eklund is stripped to the puck by Tim Higgins, who along with Mel Bridgman, who were the penalty-killing team at New Jersey several years ago. They're out there now for Detroit. Veach is on. As the puck kicked to the near side, DeLorean's going to put pressure on Eklund, rolls it into the offensive right corner. Back to Eklund, top of the right circle, straight away to the blue line, gets it back from McCrimmon. Looking for the opening. McCrimmon has it, doesn't take it. Top of the right circle, Eklund with a drive right on. Rebound, score by Timmy Kerr.
You cannot check Tim Kerr from behind, no matter who you are. He is just too big and too strong to check him from behind. The shot by Eklund, Stefan really had trouble with the rebound. Tim Kerr was there, and the Detroit defenseman Dave Lewis is no small player, is trying to check Tim Kerr from behind. You cannot do that. Kerr had excellent position on him, and of course that strength of his, he just fought off the check, put the puck in behind Stefan. The Flyers have a 1-0 lead on the power play. Eklund will pick up 1 assist on it, and that's Kerr's 25th on the power play.
Eklund and McCrimmon as the Detroit Red Wings shoot it, and that should be a delay, and it is. And we get a stoppage of play on the offside. Kerr, number 56, is 25th league-leading power play goal for McCrimmon and Eklund at 3:07.
Another one of the newcomers in the Detroit lineup, Rick Zombo, who's been up and down a couple of times over the last couple of years. He was drafted out of the University of North Dakota. Gino Casparini, the coach there, who's turned out a number of fine NHL hockey players.
All right, Tocchet is out, along with Stanley and Carson. Marsh back with Samuelson. The Flyers clear around behind the net. Adams Oates is out there along with Klima. The Flyers penetrate. Carson, a bullet from the left side, just off the outer edge of the pad of Stefan. And quickly the transition sends Detroit to center ice. Oates into the zone, right up the middle. There's a play. Shot saved by Hextall. And reading it beautifully on the feet from the right side from Klima was Adam Oates, and Hextall had to cover the short side to his right. Puck shot back in the Flyer zone, and Philadelphia picks it away, and up they come to center ice. Koser set that play up beautifully in front, and Oates just failed to click. Now there's a check at center ice by Derek Smith, as the fans here thought Philadelphia, with too many men on the ice, would that play right around their own bench, and then the Flyers embarrassed themselves a bit as Tocchet and Lindsey Carson collide at the bench.
Klima kicked the skates out from under Tocchet. That's how he went down.
All right, and that's why Tocchet was looking up ice. Red Wings clear at the center, and the Flyers take it there, and I think now the whistle is being blown for too many men. All right, 4:13 gone in the first period. Power play coming up. Detroit 1-0 Philadelphia.
Yeah, Klima kicked the skates from underneath Tocchet as they're making that line change.
Philadelphia penalty, a bench penalty for too many men on the ice. Time of the penalty, 4 minutes, 13 seconds. Again, 2 minutes for too many men on the ice. Time of the penalty, 4:13.
The call is correct. Too many men on the ice for Philadelphia as they got caught on a line change. 4:13 the time. Brian Dobbin will serve the minor penalty given out to the Flyers. Detroit 3 of 6 on the power play last Saturday on that 5-1 victory, and I'm sure the Flyers are going to try to rectify that. Red Wings are 11th in the league in power play. Just under 21% efficiency.
On the year against Philadelphia, the Red Wings 4 for 12. They'll get a pop again now here. Philadelphia had that string of killing 38 out of 39 and now given up 5 in their last 2 games, 2 in the overtime win at home against Quebec and 3 Saturday against the Red Wings. Philadelphia goes McCrimmon and Howe, and they have Poulin out there with prop. Nice break up at center ice. And Poulin shovels it in and gets a little shoulder bump from Lee Norwood, who's back on the defense with Veach. Up front they have Barr with Yzerman and Gerard Gallant. The Red Wings up the middle. Steve Yzerman at the red line. Offensive left corner dump. Gallant's in there. Shot right around in front. It just steered away from Dave Barr and shot out of the rink by Philadelphia out of the corner. But there was an executed rebound out of the left corner that just failed to click.
There's a number of limited view tickets still available for the Flyers' first 4 home playoff games at the Spectrum. These tickets will be sold on a first-come, first-served basis at the Spectrum only, so don't wait. Pick up some of these tickets and make plans to attend the opening playoff games. Those are limited view tickets available, and they'll be sold only at the Spectrum. 132 in the penalty to the Flyers for too many men in the ice. 1-0 Flyers are leading. We've played 4 minutes, 41 seconds into the first period.
Kerr with a hot weekend here against Detroit at Washington Saturday and home of the Island Sunday. Could reach that coveted 60-goal plateau. He needs but 4. Puck at the fly line. Again, an offensive left corner dump. Hextall reads it this time. Looks, drills it through past Norwood and up on the Flyer right side. And whoop, Gallant. What happened there? And then Propp takes a run at Gallant. And here we go.
That's what happened. Gallant and Propp. But what happened is that Gallant took a swing at Hextall. Or when he went by, Hextall, of course, a fiery goaltender, swung back at him. And they threatened each other. Propp, just seeing the tail end of it, went over to the aid of his goaltender very quickly. Now we have 3 Red Wings over on the boards against 2 Philadelphia Flyers.
That would be Poulin and Marsh because the Red Wings with a power play have an extra man in the offensive zone.
McCrimmon and Marsh along with 3 Red Wings, but it was Propp going after Gallant after Hextall and Gallant were exchanging talks and stick swinging.
Early first period from the Joe Louis Arena. Flyers 1 and the Red Wings no score. Propp gets an extra for being instigator. We could be 2 men short here. So far, so good. Let's see what soup we've gotten ourselves in here.
5 minutes, Mike. Well, the players in the penalty box, Brian Propp for Philadelphia. Brad McCrimmon as well for Philadelphia. And Brian Dobbin, of course, in there serving the Flyers too many men on the bench penalty. But for Detroit, Gerard Gallant in there for the Red Wings, and is the only player we've seen go in there for Detroit. And we'll have to wait to see how Fournier calls it, but I can only see 1 Red Wing in the penalty box from our position.
Remember the penalty called for delay for the Flyers for too many men in the ice. Has a minute 11 to serve, so they're already man short. Now he's explaining it to both the assistant captain Mike O'Connell and Davey Poulin, and not totally to Davey, so maybe the Flyers don't come up too short on this. But again, only speculation.
Gallant's the only Detroit Red Wing in there. What McCrimmon got it for, we'll have to wait and see what the call is. But he, along with Marsh, were over along the boards with Norwood, Barr, and Yzerman of the Red Wings.
I got a foreboding here. The 2-minute goes up on the board to Hextall. That's why McCrimmon is in, serving Hextall's penalty. So the Flyers apparently on the board are going to be 2 men short for 1 minute and 11 seconds.
All is coming at 5:03 of the opening period. The Flyers took the early lead. Tim Kerr's 56th in the season. 25th power play goal at 3:07. Eklund and Brad McCrimmon were the assists on that goal by Kerr. And they have seemed to have straightened everything out now. A good 1 minute 11 seconds. Mike Keenan now talking to the referee Fournier. At least Fournier trying to explain for it.
Gallant with 209 minutes on the air. Brian Propp now ups his total to 43. Hextall to 95. And Brad McCrimmon to 46. So the 2 minors to Gallant wipe out the minor to Propp and the minor to Hextall. That leaves McCrimmon's 2-minute minor and the Red Wings a 2-man advantage. Although the pounding away that Gallant did seemed hard not to call that fighting, but that's academic. Jacques the mayor knows that his team has been a little back on its heel. The Flyers used the power play. They lead in shots 6-1, and now he's been handed a two-man glorious advantage to get back in the game and maybe get that lead and come right back and put the pressure on Philadelphia.
They had to change the penalty up on the clock. They had...
Archer was on the ice, gets 2 minutes to serve for Hextall. There had to be someone on the ice. So now the Flyers have Crossman and Howe out there along with Poulin against Yzerman, Klima. There's a play to Ashton. Back at the point. That beat shot in. Rebounded to the near side. Two-man advantage for another minute. Right up the slot. Yzerman holds. Left side to Norwood. He's in. Drive. And that was blocked up into the end seats by Doug Crossman. From Detroit, we'll take a breather with the station identification on the Flyers Hockey Network.
Red Wings fans, look under your seats. If you're lucky, you'll find a coupon for Entertainment 87 or Savings 3.
If you're wondering who determines who goes into the penalty box, take a look at this. On the ice at the time of the penalty were Hextall, of course, Brian Propp, Dave Poulin, Brad McCrimmon, and Brad Marsh. Now then, Propp and McCrimmon pick up minors, so it's between Marsh and Poulin, who Mike Keenan has to put in the box. He wants Poulin out there for his speed and for his floor-checking ability. Therefore, Marsh has to be the one that serves the 2-minute minor.
Red Wings win the draw. There's a shot. Veach save. Rebound in front. Shot wide. Up the slot by Yzerman. Then on the far side, Howe bounces into the point. Veach keeps it in. Has Klima up on the near side, but his pass deflected. Goes off the Crossman, rolls wide, and then the Red Wings O'Connell throws it wildly into the one corner. Flyers pick it off and send it down the ice.
Excellent play by Philadelphia. They have Howe and Crossman out there as well. Two very smart players and very good players are not allowing themselves to get tied up in this two-man situation.
Yzerman from O'Connell penetrates left hash marks. Flyers get a man back in 17 seconds. Straight away to the right point to Veach, to O'Connell, who can drive. Boom, and it's deflected wide. Now Poulin should be able to get it down the ice and does into the neutral zone. Cut off just outside the Flyer line by O'Connell. The Red Wings clear. The Flyers will get a man back in 3, 2, 1. O'Connell at the point. Into the left wing corner to Yzerman. To Klima with a drive. Boy, that hit Hextall off the elbow and ricocheted out of the ring. Marvelous save. Great action. And out of the penalty box came Brian Dobbin, who was serving one of the Philadelphia penalties for too many men on the ice. And the Flyers now short a man for just 46 more seconds.
Good penalty killing really relies on your goaltender. He is such a key in that situation because when you look at it with your goaltender, it's a 5-on-5 situation. The 4 men out there, the goalie takes the shooter. And if the goaltender can beat that shooter on the shots that they're allowed, then it's an even strength situation and you'll come out with very good penalty killing. If the shooter can beat the goaltender more times than not, then you don't have good penalty killing.
Howe is out there now with Crossman, and up front Craven with Kerr. So the Flyers have 2 face-off men in this defensive situation. Red Wings have Bridgman on the right. Adam Oates at center. On the left side, Dave Barr. At the left point, Lee Norwood. At the right side, Darren Veach. The linesman Ron Asseltine out of Guelph, 7th year in the league. Red Wings win the draw back to Norwood. Hold in along the left hash mark. Gets a return away from Kerr. Spins to the far side. Puts it to Veach. Long shot from the right. Nice save by Hextall, and he covered it.
Just to add a footnote to what I was saying, Howe, Crossman took the players off the side. They let the shooter come right through on Hextall. He's off to the angle. Hextall makes the save and then just covers up on the rebound. And I think teams get into a pattern, Gene, and they also get a little bit too frantic when they're killing penalties. They don't think the goaltender can handle that shot. They try to do too much. Let the goalie have the shot. Let him see it. Try to put it off to the angle or from a long range, and you'll kill the majority of your penalties.
Bobby, is it primarily your job in there to peek around a defenseman, or can you say to him left, or move right so you can open that shot to your view?
No, it determines the offensive player where he's stationed, how that defenseman plays. You can tell him to try and move him out of the way to see it, but sometimes that's very impossible. It's very difficult to do, rather.
Heat from the point. Shot wide. Now Steffen is out as there's another Philadelphia penalty coming up. Flyers pick it up, and I don't know against whom that is, but I guess it's Mark Howe. Going to be a slash. So the Red Wings will have another 2-man advantage, this time for 21 seconds.
Yeah, 21 seconds remain on McCrimmon's minor penalty.
37 minutes to Howe. Flyers have 5 of the game's 8 penalties. Red Wings get the draw back to Norwood, out with Veach. Veach has an open shot right in at the right circle. Good kick save. Rebound poked away from Yzerman, who grabs another shot, and another fine save by Hextall.
Now we have Barr and Stanley jostling in front. And one thing the Flyers have to be careful is not to get too carried away. Here in the first 20 minutes, the Red Wings are working on their second and third power play opportunity. Daryl Stanley is just like a young colt in spring right now, Gene. He is so anxious to get out there and run. He's been off blades and out of the game action for quite a while. The good shot and the rebound. Hextall was upset with himself because what he did is he just flipped the rebound back out in the slot. And he knew he made a mistake there, and he was a little bit angry with himself, but he covered up well as he took the rebound shot away from Yzerman.
Well, the turnaround, the Flyers, when the series of penalties began, out shooting Detroit 7-6. Now the Red Wings are 6-1. Now it's 7-6. Norwood again. Short side shot, hit the post, and caromed out. Short side, and Hextall a break there. Now Norwood again, left circle. To the right side, trying to find Yzerman for a one-timer. McCrimmon is out of the box, and the Flyers salvage a second two-man disadvantage. There's a minute and a half remaining on the penalty to Mark Howe. The Red Wings are on their third power play. They are now 4 for 14 against Philadelphia on the air. Penetrating the right, Brent Ashton. He's got a man in front, Yzerman, but the pass is taken away, and out comes Craven along with Poulin. Poulin up the middle, hooked, and he's going to take a dive. And that appeared to be so. And number 9, and Norwood was the culprit, but Ron Fournier would have none of that called at all. Puck through into the Flyer zone. They say no icing. Hextall takes it off the board, gets it right out on the carom to Murray Craven, and Craven drills it down the ice. Maybe that dive was a little bit too emphatic.
You're going to try. Anytime you see those players' legs go out straight, you know they're helping the referee or trying to help the referee.
Yeah, they come in. Probert, who had a goal the other night, is stopped on a nice check by Samuelson. Dump. Flyers dig out the loose puck and send it down. We played 8 minutes into the first period. 1-0 on a power play goal. Philadelphia Kerrs, 56, Eklund and McCrimmon. The Red Wings on a series of power plays, 2 of them with a two-man advantage, and haven't found the answer yet to Philadelphia's defense around Hextall. Flyers dump it down, and again a crowd of near 20. They're standing everywhere, and all the seats in the upper level, the lower and the upper bowl, they call them, the super boxes, are jammed and standing room galore. There's a play into the zone. Klima had the puck lost, tapped away to the near side, losing his edge there for a moment with Kerr. The Red Wings try to take it away. They can't. Flyers grab it, and up on the left side, McCrimmon drills it all the way down. That ought to do it as the Red Wings retrieve 3-2-1, and the Flyers come up with a big test of the game so far, stopping 3 Detroit power plays, 2 of them two-man advantages. There's a long drive by Delorme from center ice. Hextall saves. The puck is shot all the way down. Lindsey Carson in pursuit, so Greg Steffen way out the corner to his left, tries to make the play, just does to Delorme, who wings it off the far boards to center. Off the Detroit bench trying to make a play for the Red Wings was Tim Higgins. Flyers there, and Lindsey Carson penetrates, then is knocked down by Michael Connell as Delorme retrieves, looks up at center ice for Sean Byrne, gets him the puck, and he taps it all the way down behind the Philadelphia net. Probert in after Hextall, and then they give away to the near side. Boom, there's a big check in there, and we almost have a collision. Daigneault and Probert, and now Berube is in there, and here they go. They had a big one in Philadelphia on Saturday, won by Berube.
Hey, Probert hit the goaltender, Hextall, and then went after Daigneault, and then now Berube's coming in. Now Probert is getting that right hand up underneath Berube, but boy, did they have a heavyweight battle in Detroit, or probably in Philadelphia on Saturday afternoon. Neither one of them now can get loose. And they are holding on to each other, and they're punching hand pretty good. Well, I think you're going to see a very rough game throughout this night, Gene.
Well, these may be penalties 9 and 10 in the first 8 minutes of the game. Midway first period from the Joe Louis Arena. Flyers 1 and the Red Wings no score.
Calls or the get even calls are going to come by. Detroit's had 3 power plays to the Flyers 1.
All right. Play is on. Remember, the score is 1-0 Philadelphia. 10.5 minutes remaining first period. Red Wings, due to all the penalties, a good shot from left side. That was kicked away nicely by Hextall on the short side from Higgins. There's a centering pass, and right there was Hextall to knock it away, and Burr coming in to try to make a play, slammed into the post, and now what have we got here? Hextall is enraged with Fournier.
If you know why he is,
because he's going to call him for the penalty.
Detroit is starting to get to Hextall. They're bumping him at every time. Sean Burr ran through the crease and hit Hextall to knock the goal off its magnets, and what he's upset about is the fact that he's getting bumped out there. But the idea is to get Hextall upset so that he gets his concentration off, and also it affects his play. We've seen 2 or 3 times now where the Detroit team has bumped Hextall to try and get his dander up. And that's been working so far. Hextall's taken 2 penalties already in his first 10 minutes of this game.
Let me give you the penalties now. Hextall has 97 minutes, Berube 43, Probert with 214, and there have been 12 penalties called, 7 to set the grand design to take him off his game. And the Red Wings have it at the point. Norwood is shot, blocked in front by Mel Bridgman, and Darryl Stanley outlets off the skate of Tocchet, gets it back, clears to the red line, throw into the zone. Carson down that left side, had a chance, lost it, then Tocchet in front to Stanley, a bullet, and Stefan was equal to that. Now in front, Carson with a drive, that was blocked off. And now we got a stoppage of play, and what do we got in front?
Stanley after Gallant, as they were really holding. Now Stefan come right out after Stanley.
Now that's a third man in. He should be gone.
Well, it's an automatic 2 from leaving the crease for a fight. But Stanley is upset with the way he was handled in front of the net. Now Tocchet's got Michael Connell. No, that's Rick Zombo. And Tocchet and them both go down with Tocchet up front. They're back up now. And Tocchet is landing some good blows. Zombo's trying his best, but he is not a match for Rick Tocchet.
Now, Bob, what I meant was that, leaving the crease during an altercation, that's 2 minutes. But he joined in after Darryl Stanley was working on Gallant. That's third man in, and there's no deference to the goaltender. He should be gone. I mean, that's automatic. Zombo's still going at it with Tocchet, and you knew it was going to be one of these games. These are two of the most heavily penalized teams in the league. And we might point back even to the 5-1 game at Philadelphia on Saturday. There were 24 called. But Stanley will be out, Tocchet will be out, Zombo will be out, Gallant will be out. And I'll tell you, if he doesn't throw Mr. Greg Stefan out of the game, then he's missed the key part of the rule book. And at minimum, he gets 2 for leaving the crease. Now, Brad Marsh in a bear hug. And Joey Closer says, that's all right, that's over now. Jelsel Samuelson. They're all jammed in behind the Detroit net, and now Stefan is there. Well, it was peaceful. And then at 5:03, Prop, Gallant, Hextall, McCrimmon. It hasn't stopped since. All right, while we wait to see all the penalties, 9:56 remain in the first.
Darryl Stanley, he turned around, dropped his glove, went at it. Then this is when Stefan came in and went after Darryl Stanley out of the crease. Stefan cross-checked him to the ice.
Automatic. Not even a question. Automatic. Third man in an altercation.
Well, we'll have to see how Ron Fournier.
Oh, I don't. We just didn't pick up the penalties, so we'll just have to wait and give them to you at a different time. But it involved Tocchet and Stanley of Philadelphia. And there's a breakthrough at the flyer line. Gallant, Zombo, and Stefan for Detroit. What do we got? The play into the zone, and this crowd is just overwhelming the game right now. There's a check in the corner by Ashton on Mellanby. There's a big check thrown in there by Sean Burr, and this is going to really develop into a tongue war here. This is just the prelude, I feel. Red Wings up. A shot by Delorme goes behind the Philadelphia net. Poked into the near corner, and then Burr takes a run at Samuelson, and Mellanby takes the puck behind the net. And the Red Wings now are here for vengeance. They feel that they've been defamed, and they're coming back at Philadelphia. Shot from center ice, saved by Hanlon. Another shot in. There's a cross check by Delorme against Philadelphia's Mellanby in front. He shot. What a save by Hanlon. And the stick went back into the net. You thought it jumped, and here we go again.
Burr cross-checked Poulin from behind after he took the shot. I saw Fournier's hand go up. Now, whether or not that was to signify the play was over or to call something, we'll have to wait. But I think it's going to be penalties, exactly what's going to be called here. I think you're going to see Burr in the box for Detroit for cross-checking, and then now Mellanby's moving into the box for Philadelphia. It occurred in the corner when Mellanby was knocked down by Delorme, but Mellanby was able to control the puck, feed it out in front to Dave Poulin, who had a good chance, and then he was knocked down from behind by Burr. Hanlon made a big save to keep it 1-0. And And now Marsh is having some words with a few players.
.11:07 the times of these penalties. We're going to see if we can get somebody to get some help from the press and get the specific penalties to the 5 players, Tocchet, Stanley, Gallant, Zombo, and Steffen, that we missed. But this is the toughest war that we've had this year, and it's just early on. It's just the early skirmishes.
Boy, Hanlon has made 2 excellent saves in front of that net. I'm not sure he knew exactly where the puck was once it hit him, but nonetheless, he has kept that puck out of the net. The Flyers have had 2 great opportunities to up their lead to 3-0 rather than 1-0. And it's a difficult situation to come in and to face the first 2 shots and have them such difficult ones. But Hanlon has made the saves on both occasions.
Play in the zone, shot wide by McCrimmon, and out comes Barr with Ashton and Yzerman. Puck drilled in the Flyer zone behind Hextall, slows it down, looks, backhands it off the side for Kerr. Kerr tries to tap it out. Dave Lewis keeps it in. Then to Kerr, looks to center ice and hits his player on the near side prop in the skate. Then Howe penetrates, rolled off the stick as he was through the defense, and the Red Wings clear to center. 8:16 left in this first period. 1-0. Poulin penetrates, left circle, and a beautiful right glove up to block that one by Hanlon. He stoned the Flyers. There's a play back to the point. McCrimmon is shot. That was knocked down in front and carried by Veach to center ice. Barr picking up on the right. Yzerman on left. They penetrate. They try to work toward the net. Red Wing is knocked down, and the Flyers drifted to center ice. As my count has it, we've already had 22 penalties in the game. Penetration by Norwood. Yzerman in front, a little shovel to the short side. Gets it again. Looks to play it in front and then missed the pass. The Flyers send it all the way down. There's no icing, and so Hanlon off to his right. Clears it himself to the blue line, where it's kept in by Dobbin. Ooh, in front, and just tipped wide by Derek Smith. Centering play as Smith is jammed into the boards on the near side and held by Koser. As Adam Oates now gets the puck to Norwood behind the net. He's bumped by Philadelphia's Eklund, and the puck comes to Klima. He stopped, and Klima's seen little action with all the fireworks so far. To the point, Crosman is shot, and that whistle by the short side, and we got Dobbin now, and Koser, I guess, over there.
Koser wanted to get in on it. He missed a lot of it, so he had to get into something. And he and Brian Dobbin's first regular shift out the game, had a good scoring opportunity. Now Kocher is trying, and he is landing some real strong right hands on young Brian Dobbin. Both teams are wired. Holy, I think that's an understatement.
All right, while we pick up more penalties, 7:12 remain in the first period from the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. Flyers 1 and the Red Wings no score. Look at my magic sheet here.
Well, it wasn't just not too far from the site, Gene, that they had that major WrestleMania here on Sunday at the Pontiac Silverdome. This is maybe a spillover from that.
93,000 people. All right, we've now had 24 penalties in the first period, 13 to Philadelphia. Dobbin with his first major has 7 minutes on the air, and Koser, who's no stranger to the penalty box, as the Flyers rip it out of the zone. Koser with 200 now and 12. There's a play into the Philadelphia zone, 3-on-2. Nice poke check, but it rolls to Klima. He's there. Shot wide to the right of Hextall when he had the corner. Centering play, and the Flyers block off, and out they come to center ice. At the Red Wing line, Daniel off to Kerr, who has the game's only goal on the power play. He scored it in his attempt to go in deep, and it's stolen and then lost by Lindsey Carson behind the Red Wing net. Mike O'Connell out, putting it through to Dave Barr at center ice. Into the zone, and the pass is broken up, and back comes Kerr. Pivots as he's by himself, turns, looking for support. Beautiful little wrist return pass to Derek Smith over the line. Cuts to the middle, shot wide to the right of Hanlon. Derek Smith gets it himself, shoots from the left side. Hanlon blocks, controls for his defense. They try to clear it out and then whistle it all the way down into the Red Wing player penalty box on the...
More often than not, though, you get it such a bad period or such a wild period such as this that the teams calm down for the final 2.
Derek Smith out there along with Poulin and Prop. Flyers turn it at center ice. They try to drift through, broken up by Dave Lewis. chopped to center ice in Philadelphia there. A give and go. Nobody sees it on the near side. Samuelsson is beaten into the zone by Bridgman, but there Higgins and Sean Burr were already standing on.
As a free agent signee out of college hockey from Detroit.
Red Wings shoot it into the Philadelphia zone. Hextall sets it up, wheels it up on the far side, away from the uncharging Mark Kumpel, steals, and then Howe gets it back and outlets up the middle of the ice to Eklund. Eklund through, and he's got Howe. Oh, and he was up the middle by himself, overskated. Now the Flyers, Daigneault in, shot! Great save by Hanlon, and he's made 4 of them so far since coming on at the 10:04 mark of the first period to replace Stefan thrown out with a game misconduct. Hanlon, who was outstanding in Philadelphia, has kept up the tempo right here, and he's kept the Red Wings in it. Philadelphia at center. Mellanby out of the box now, loses the puck into the zone. There's Kumpel, and he loses it, and the Flyers pivot and send it to center ice. Daigneault on with Crossman, and the Flyers have Mellanby with Derek Smith and Eklund. Puck behind the Philadelphia net. Forechecking was Kumpel, but the Flyers outlet it through on the left wing at center ice. Coming through, Derek Smith, 60-footer, and Hanlon reaches over to his right with the glove, drops behind, and the Red Wings come to clean at center ice. He's going to charge against Samuelsson over the line, fakes into the left circle, shot, little half-speed shot that Hextall kicked off to his left, and the Flyers don't clear. The Red Wings keep it and roll it into the slot. Klima looks for a pass, and Samuelsson got across to cut it off, send it off a body into the neutral zone. They're so high-wired here tonight that every move, good or bad, you can just hear that action from the crowd. Puck dumped past McCrimmon, racing at the Flyer line. Klima and Samuelsson beats him to it, takes it around behind the net, winds it up on the near side, takes a bump from Klima, and gets it to center ice. Red Wing coming out of the Flyer zone, lose it. Carson into the Red Wing zone on a lost puck, is checked off by Norwood, and then the Red Wings' Dave Barr falling in front of his net almost slid it into the goal. On the near side, O'Connell tied up by Craven. Centering pass off the stick right in front and grabbed by goaltender Hanlon before Propp could take a whack at it. 3:51 remaining. Offensive right circle, shot on the net by Poulin, wide to the right side of the Red Wing zone, where Higgins gets it up the center. Crossman picks it off there. He's through to Howe. Howe left winging, nicely pass into the zone. Propp has it, lost it, and then tried to go in deep. The Red Wings take it away. And Norwood behind the net, chased by Kerr, puts it up to the line, where it's played by Bridgman, looking for Higgins, offensive right corner. Deep rebound to the red circle, and it's cleared off the stick to center ice by Philadelphia. Rolled to Kerr, accidentally Kerr over the line. Left wing to Poulin, looks for Kerr, and he's right there with a backhander, wide to the short side, from deep in on Hanlon's right. The Red Wings now come to center ice. Bridgman, along with Higgins, and on the near side, Sean Burr. Drops in front, shot! What a fine play by the Red Wings to set up Barr on the trailer, and Hextall was outstanding. Nice move by Bridgman, away from Crossman into the point, drive, and Hextall to save off the effort by Delorme. Red Wings putting on heat now. Out of that corner, Higgins looks. He's chased by Poulin, a pair of number 20s battling in the far corner. They both go down. The puck kicks free to Burr, rolls it up right back under Poulin's body, kicked free by Bridgman. Bridgman looking for a place to go, right circle. He's got a shot from there if he wants it, and Hextall ate it up, as Daigneault did a nice job of keeping Sean Burr to the right side. And gets it to the point. Deep shot, wide into the left shoulder of Hextall. Flyers try to come out, and right now the Red Wings have set a tone by taking the puck to Philadelphia. Offensive left corner for Detroit. They have 4 players along the near side. Only Veach is the other side. Puck pops up to the side of the net. There's a grab by Stanley on the Red Wing. That could be a penalty. In front, and a shot off to the right side. Emanated from Mark Kumpel, is blocked. Then it's centered in front to Samuelsson. He tries to clear it out. Kumpel blocks it back along the offensive right side of the Red Wing zone. Nice fight of the play. Beautiful by Philadelphia's Lindsey Carson. They get it up through to Berube at center ice. Craven over the line, looked back for Carson, who had circled to the Flyer bench to be replaced. Nobody there. And Dave Lewis now set up on his left side for Detroit. Puck stolen at center. Over the line. Propp trying to go in, and then he's hooked off the play. And we get a stoppage as the puck is shot out of the ring. 1:51 remaining in the first period. 1 goal. That's almost forgotten. The have-nots, Detroit for 22 years looking for a title. Hartford at Montreal tonight if they get a tie or a win. The Whalers win their first National Hockey League item. Howe on a face-off drive that's blocked. McCrimmon doesn't gamble to go in, and that allows Tim Higgins to bring it unchallenged to center ice. Rolling it down behind the Flyer net, looking for Brent Ashton. Hextall peels it in his own left corner. Red Wings take it off. Fired right through the crease. Philadelphia looking for the puck. In the corner, Norwood through the crease again, and Hextall deflects it to O'Connell at the point. His shot smothered. Burr back to the point. There goes a try and lost by Higgins. Now down that right side, little move inside by Propp, and Higgins was able to block with his stick as he was turned off balance and in a position to be beaten. Propp penetrates, tries to go up the middle, taken by Kerr into the zone after a deflected pass, offside Philadelphia.
It's starting to settle down now. Somewhat, as of course most of the people that had started everything are out of the game or sitting in the penalty box. Tim Kerr with out. Let's see the presentation of the Bobby Clarke and Barry Ashby trophies, that final game.
Steal from Daigneault into the zone. Gallant drops back near side for Yzerman toward the net. Hextall steers it behind. Red Wings unchallenged there to the near side. They look. Burr has it. Looks to the other side in front, and he missed two players. And at the point, Delorme had turned inside, couldn't handle it. He's checked at center by Derek Smith, who's on with Dobbin and Eklund, and the Flyers jam it all the way down. Though it's early in the game, the Flyers have already suffered one serious playoff loss tonight. With his fifth game misconduct, Rick Tocchet, 3-game suspension. That would be Saturday at Washington, Sunday with the Island, and the first home game with Philadelphia next Wednesday in the playoffs.
We talked.
Minnesota. No, who'd they beat? Michigan State? Michigan State. That's the second straight year that happened here. Up on the left wing at center ice, Howe cuts it off from Veach, and the poke check sends it into the Red Wing back.
Along with goaltender Darren Jensen of the Flyers.
Of course, Mark Taylor, who played briefly with Philadelphia and Washington.
And Pittsburgh.
Yep, there's a play out to center ice. 25 seconds left in the period. Shot back in. And the Flyers retrieve behind the net. Red Wings forechecking now with aggressiveness. Philadelphia gets a Mellanby up through off the skate. And Veach at center ice drives it back all the way down over the Flyer goal line. And Philadelphia picks it up there. 10 seconds left. They go left side to McCrimmon off the skate. And this does Berg tried to tap it back in. Was cleared out. Cleared back in. There won't be enough time for the Red Wings to get a shot. As we come to moving right to left. Out there is Murray Craven on the right wing, Berube on the left, centered by Lindsey Carson. Red Wings go with Bridgman along with Yzerman and Probert. There's a run at Berube along the near side by defenseman Veach, and we're going to have a penalty against who?
Probert went after Berube, and that's who he was going to get. I think that's what Probert's been wanting to get even. Oh, they had it a couple of rights, and then Berube took Probert. And boy, I'll tell you, Berube is handling him again. He's landed a couple, Probert, but Berube landed 3 or 4 real quick rights and then put him to the ice. And Probert went after Berube, and it looked like Ron Fournier was going to call a penalty then on Probert, and I think he might get that instigation.
All right, took only 19 seconds for more war from Detroit. Early second period, Flyers 1 and the Red Wings nothing.
Why is he going to the penalty? Why is he going to the dressing room?
Would he have been cut?
No. And Berube picks up a 5-minute major for fighting. Bob Probert 2 for instigation and a 5-minute major for fighting. So this will give Philadelphia their second power play opportunity, and it comes early in this second period, somewhat similar to the one in the first period.
And that came at 2:25 when Stefan was called for delay for shooting the puck out of the ring. Kerr got the only goal at 3:07. Again, number 56 from Eklund and McCrimmon, our only score. So Berube with 48 minutes on the year, second major of the night. Probert with his second major. He has 4 penalties, 221 all told minutes. There have been 27 penalties all told, now 14 to Philadelphia. And the Red Wings against Philadelphia. Flyers have 3 now for 16 on the power play. Up on the right side, lost puck, stolen away, and gained back by Philadelphia as Burr is out there along with Higgins. Defensively, Delorme on one side. Nealwood in the other. Play in front, curve, bullet, score! Number 57.
Did he let that shot go? You talk about his quick release, and most of the time you see Tim Kerr release that puck when he's down close, but Mark Howe gains his zone, and everybody's backing away. Howe feeds Kerr with a perfect pass. And then the quick release from the top of the circles beat goaltender Glenn Hanlon low to the stick side. I don't think he picked it up till it was too late, Gene, as the defenseman out there went down to try and block it. That was Gilbert Delorme. And the puck went just by him, and Kerr scores his second of the game, second on the power play. The Flyers have a 2-0 lead.
Well, there are a lot of Hextall people here tonight, including Ron's brother, Rob, and also, of course, Mr. Kerr and the rest of the Kerr family from across the river in Windsor, Canada, and they have to be thrilled by that. Puck cleared into the Red Wing zone, pumped up on the near side. Crossman tries to get it out, and the Red Wings get past Crossman 2-on-1. Yzerman with Klima with just Samuelsson back. Klima there, to Yzerman. Oh, and it was deflected wide. And maybe Samuelsson got a piece of it. O'Connell from the point and shot. Just wide to the right now. Dave Lewis picks it up along the boards, tries to pump it in. Nice breakup by Philadelphia. And then Lindsey Carson takes down Lewis. Dobbin chases O'Connell back in the Detroit zone. Doug Crossman fell at the Detroit line, and that allowed Yzerman and Klima to go 2-on-1 with Samuelsson. Flyers dump it into the Detroit end. Lewis tries to get it out and does. Darryl Stanley pokes it back in and catches Murray Craven offside. Early second period. Did you hear his formula for playing 1,000 games?
Right.
Don't get sick so they forget about you, and don't rip the coach or the general manager in the papers. All right, Detroit. There's a play up along the co-serve to Adam Oates on with Brett Ashton. They roll it into the Flyer zone. Again, Crossman can't find the handle. Then it's tapped back to Derek Smith, and he feathers it into center ice. Flying on the near side, a nice couple of moves by Mellanby. Down the left wing side, up the middle, looking for a player. And that was taken away from Craven, and back comes Koser. Up the middle on the left side, penetrating. Down that left side is defenseman Norwood. Centering play broken up by Philadelphia and shoveled to center ice. Boom, a Red Wing goes down in front of the Philadelphia net. That Lee Norwood, and he looks shaken up as the puck is driven back in the Flyer zone. Norwood doesn't get out in time, and with Ashton in there, we get an offside, and then Ashton takes a run and at that Mellanby, and Mellanby wants a part of Ashton.
Now Kosher grabbed a hold of Mellanby. So you're getting a lot of second men in on altercations. I wonder if Fournier picked that up, but Kosher grabbed a hold of Melody as he was going after Ashton. What did I say about usually you get everything out in one period? Well, maybe it's not quite the case here.
Well, this is the first two-sheeter we've had in a long time, and we still have 37 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in regulation. But it should be Ashton and Mellanby. And Mellanby is fighting off Ron Asselstein, and Asselstein saying, cool it. All right, now with that stoppage, we'll pick up the penalties. 2:20 going into the second period from Detroit. 2-0 Flyers.
What gets me is that Kosher grabbed a hold of him. Why shouldn't he be getting something?
Oh, we got the extra one here. Huh? Gene Hart along with Bob Taylor back at Detroit. It appears whatever has been called, the added minor penalty to Scott Mellanby. Here we go.
Scott Mellanby in double minor. 4 minutes for roughing.
4 minutes for roughing for Scott Mellanby. Ben Ashton picks up 2 minutes for roughing. So this will give the Detroit Red Wings
advantage stretched in there. Puck put down behind the Philadelphia net to the right, and the Flyers dig it out, and McCrimmon slams it all the way down as Propp is out with Poulin, McCrimmon, and Howe. The Red Wings go with Klima, Yzerman, Veach, Norwood, and Gerard Gallant. Puck at center ice, taken away by Poulin. Tries to find the handle, shovels it back near side to Howe. Howe's pass doesn't get it out. Yzerman tried to put it in front. Oh, almost a mistake, and then back to the right point. There comes Veach into the side of the net. A shovel shot, a rebound of Hextall. Butterflies with his legs back into the net on left or right post and covers the puck.
And now we're getting some pushing and shoving in front. Yzerman and McCrimmon. No, Yzerman's away from that. It was Yzerman and Propp, but on a backhand try by Klima. And his control of the rebound, just taking away from Gerard Gallant.
Bobby, we've had occasion quite often this year to take turns at doing it to Mr. Fournier, but I think under a very difficult situation tonight, he's handled the game pretty well.
A lot of it has been clear cut.
But as you say, clear cut to one end, clear cut to the other.
Yeah, exactly. Creative referee.
Poulin couldn't get out as Norwood pinched. Now he gets some help along the Flyer defensive right corner from McCrimmon to jam it up. The Red Wings.
Very strong acquisition for this Red Wing hockey club.
Poulin and Craven along with McCrimmon and Howe. Ron Hextall gets a little delay fixing it. The strap on his right pad, and now Fournier comes in to make sure it's not Calderall.
A big goal scorer, but he's healthy this year, and consequently that net has been dented 38 times from the end of his stick.
Offensive left circle, Yzerman against Craven, rolls back to the point. Norwood looks into the corner to Klima, can work magic. Then he dumps out of the corner away from the hook check of McCrimmon. Back to the left point, Yzerman to Norwood. Back to Yzerman along the left side, reaches at the circle, looks, angle shot just off the outer edge of Hextall's skate. Didn't have a chance to go in. Back to Beach, shot on the net, that's wide over the backside. Hextall looks for a wraparound. There's a centering try, and he covers to his right, and he's very technically sound tonight, Bobby.
You play within your system, and that's what Bernie Parent refers to it. You have to make sure that you're playing within yourself and not trying to overplay the puck or at least get too far away from that net.
Gallant, along with Norwood and Beach. Norwood gets it. 50 seconds on the Red Wing power play. They trail 2-0. Klima behind them. Look out, there's a stuffer, and it kicked out in front. But away from the Red Wings on either side, Gallant and Yzerman, and Craven was able to ice it. That brings Philadelphia's prop out with Poulin and McCrimmon and Howe. Flyers aggressively forechecking, so Norwood around behind the net away from prop and throws it away at center ice. No control there by Gallant. Flyers through to prop. Prop's jammed up against his own player bench by Norwood, allowing Beach to retrieve in the Red Wing zone, come up on the right side and drift it in off the glass on the ledge behind Hextall. Yzerman takes it, looks to center, rolls off his stick to Howe, and Howe will lead the charge to center ice. He's got Prop and Poulin with him, and then turns up into the zone. Slapped that by Gallant. Hooked, almost taken off the puck. Ties the puck up along the hash mark's right side, killing the rest of that penalty beautifully, and then it kicks out, and there's a play at center ice to Yzerman. Back along the near side, Gallant on the backhander into the right wing corner. Stops, the penalty is over. Flyers take the puck away and roll it up the middle of the ice. And Daigneault's out there, lifts it in and puts it down behind the Red Wing net. Penalty box is now so that both teams at full strength. Probert still in the box for the Red Wings. Berube in the Flyer dressing room, and the Red Wings, we get a breather finally on an icing call with 4:42 gone into the second. That's funny, with all that's going on, the shots are 1-1 in this period.
2-0 to score. We've played 4 minutes, 42 seconds into the second period. Flyers leading the Detroit Red Wings. The big man, Tim Kerr, both goals for Philadelphia, both of them on the power play.
Offensive left circle, Philadelphia. Got Derek Smith out there along with Eklund and Kerr, and the Red Wings take the puck, and Higgins starts up on the right side. Offensive right corner dump looking for Bridgman, who's buried at center by Kjell Samuelsson, and that was clear cut. I thought Bobby an interference, but Fournier chose to ignore it as Samuelsson's helmet has been bounced around behind the Philadelphia net.
They will never call that.
No.
It's the most blatant form of interference, yet the referees don't call that.
Eklund over the line, pivots in front, tries to get the puck to Kerr, instead to Samuelsson. He drives it to the net. Blocked, and here come the Red Wings down that right wing at center ice, lifting it through at the Flyer line, but there's Marsh to break up the play smartly. Eklund, who turns away from the checking of Burr at center ice to his line. The Samuelsson left side, Marsh bringing it up into the neutral zone. So he's hooked, lifts it in, and it rolls off Hanlon's glove, offensive right corner. Chipped away from Kerr, given back to him behind the net, trying to find Kerr, who's being wrestled on in front by Delorme. Tied up behind the net. Now Derek Smith goes in front as the puck kicks clear to the near side, and Higgins clears it. Kerr takes it and centered, but nobody there as the Flyers were turning to either board, looking for a Detroit breakout, and the puck goes all the way down into the Flyer zone. Sent up from the goal line area to Daigneault from Hextall, and then Daigneault retreats, sends it up on the right wing where Derek Smith hooks it through to the Red Wing line, and Beach drives it to center ice. The Red Wings give it away there to Daigneault. Dave Lewis, and Daigneault from the blue line shoots in, and we have an offside Philadelphia.
Corey Craven.
Or total by either team, and it was scored here, and I wonder if you can remember the player. In other words, in 20 years of play in Detroit at the Olympia and the Joe Louis Arena, only one hat trick between Flyer and Red Wings. Here come the Red Wings down that right side. Barr looking to shovel it in. Nice play by Lindsey Carson, out muscle him. Puck picked up and sent by Craven up along the near side to the Detroit line. We'll give Bobby a chance to guess who that was later on. One hat trick lifetime on the road Flyers. There's a breakthrough on that side. Yzerman has a man up the middle of the line. Hayes taken down and the Flyers turn back. Craven up coming along with Dobbin and Lindsey Carson. There goes a play in front, and it was taken away from Carson nicely by Beach. Beach has a stake taken out by Carson as the Red Wings break 3-on-2, and we get an offside Detroit.
Here's, I'll go with Clark.
Ah, you stinker. I figured he'd get everybody else. Bob Clark in the game won by Philadelphia 8-4 a couple of years ago, or in his last year of play. It was funny having gone all those years before getting one here. Puck to the near side, lost puck. There's a drive. Hextall wide of the short side. And out on the right, Prop misread the speed of that play. The Red Wings pick up the puck, keep it in, but no play by Adam Oates. Crossman off to the far side, doesn't get it out. Drilled in again. There's a shot at the side of the net. Backhander and covered off the stick of Adam Oates from the right of Ron Hextall by the goaler for the stoppage of play. Clark's goal, by the way, for those of you interested, well, let's pick it up at the plate. Norwood through a screen, blocked in front off a deflection by Yzerman, and a fine save of Hextall.
Boy, he is having a great game, Ron Hextall. He has been very sound in the net. He's had a number of deflections that he's had to contend with. The one in the first period off of Yzerman hit the goalpost, but this time Yzerman, who is very adept at finding that hole in front, not being that big of a player, but he deflected it up, tried to get it through the 5-hole, and Hextall with those long legs, and when he uses that butterfly style, it makes it very difficult to get it past him when he is down like that on all fours. And we've often said that there's two styles, of course, the classic stand-up, the butterfly style. If you can use the both styles, you're much more effective, and Hextall seems to do that, especially on deflections.
Flyers coming out of the zone. Kerr with both goals is stopped at the line, and then it's tapped in and back in the Flyer end by the Red Wings offside. That hat trick, by the way, Bobby, came on the 27th of December, 1982.
Well, we talked about Mark LaForest between Darryl Stanley of the Flyers and Gerard Gallant of the Detroit Red Wings. Mark LaForest, remember, got his first NHL start here against Philadelphia, and it ended up being a victory. Won 4-1 and played outstanding.
Puck drifted into the Flyer zone. Hextall can't handle it. Rips back to the point, and Kerr is able to get it out. They run into the official 2-on-1. Man open in front. There's the pass blocked off beautifully by Gilbert Delorme. When it appeared in front to Kerr, broken away. Poulin picks it up in the offensive left corner. Looks to the point. Howe trying to find an opening. Goes to the backhander. Into the near corner looking for Poulin. Picked off and sent by Delorme to center ice. Howe looking for an opening. Down that right side, puts it into the zone, and a wraparound by McCrimmon, picked up on the offensive left side by Prop. Lets it go to Poulin at the point. Shot, and it hit the short side post off Delorme's deflection. And the Red Wings again get it to center ice. Pass Howe. Yzerman into the zone along with Ashton. Played Ashton, went off the skate. Now Ashton out of that corner by himself. Centers, and landing on the plate coming in from the left was Gerard Gallant. Boy, another couple of close-up pops for the Red Wings, and they failed to capitalize. Puck behind the Philadelphia net, 2-0 Flyers. 11:17 remaining in the second period. The game has just taken an indeterminate length of time to play because of the number of penalties. There have been all told 30 in the game, and play goes on down behind the Red Wing net. 9 minutes gone in the period. The shots in this period, 2 for Detroit, 1 for Philadelphia. The Flyers scored on that only one. Centering play in front. Knocked away by Hextall, and then a little shovel shot is blocked, and the Flyers clear to center ice. Beach is back there with Mike O'Connell, and up front they go Klima with Oates and Barr. Puck at center. The Red Wings penetrate. Offensive right corner dump, and Klima all by himself fell. As they say, tripped over the blue line, and the Flyers try, but don't get it out. Play into the slot to Klima. He's checked. Philadelphia then is able to push it to center ice. O'Connell chased by Eklund back in the zone. It's cleared out the center just barely, and it's dumped by Eklund back to the Flyer line. Eklund on with Dobbin and Darryl Stanley as the Flyers drill it from their right corner all the way down the ice. Flyers through 9.5 minutes of play in the second period have had one shot, and that was the goal by Kerr. Red Wings have only had 2. Here they come. No, Oates trailed on that left side by Barr. Cuts to the middle of the ice. Looks to drop it back to Beach. He's there for the screen. Hextall with another save, and it popped up and back in his glove at the whistle. 10:02 remaining in the second period from the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. 2-0 Philadelphia.
In substitution, if Stefan has made big saves for the Red Wings, Hextall has made a number of them here for Philadelphia.
Red Wings trying to keep that puck in. There's a rugby scrum. They dig it out, trying to get it in a shot, and we get a penalty, and it's going to be a hold against Philadelphia. Looks like Murray Craven's going off, and the Red Wings will come up with their 5th power play of the game.
5 power plays to 2 for Philadelphia. Detroit is the #1 penalized team in the National Hockey League. But they have had the opportunity on the power play much more now, as it comes at 10:07. This holding call to Murray Craven.
36 minutes on the air for Craven with 9:53 remaining second period. 2-0 Philadelphia.
Weeknights at 10 on Philly 57. There's no criminal alive who can keep of the two.
Yzerman, Gallant, Ashton, Norwood, and Veach. Flyers whip it around to the near side. Poulin looks, trying to get it past Veach, and doesn't. Breaks 2-on-1 with Kerr. One man back is Norwood. Poulin in, goes to Kerr, gets too long, and then centers, and the play was beaten. Then a stuffer by Philadelphia's Poulin, blocked off by Hanlon. And Hanlon outguessed, and Norwood outguessed Captain Poulin.
He might be hurt, Hanlon. He was fell on by his defenseman out there. And he's very slow in getting up, and his legs were going back and forth. But he's a very tough kid, Glenn Hanlon. Of course, he's not a kid anymore, but
Norwood did a crackerjack job there.
Getting back, Dave Poulin, of course, holding and hoping that something would open up. Norwood took away the pass, and that was the perfect play for him. He let Hanlon handle Poulin on the shot. Poulin, of course, trying to get Kerr to the puck, and Norwood really took that away. Made an excellent play on that 2-on-1 situation, and of course with Poulin trying to get around behind, but he's looking for the pass, and by the time he decided he can't get the pass through, he has to try and make a play on Hanlon. He was in too tight. Hanlon coming out and sprawling forced him to go wide, lost the puck, and then with the stuffer try, he couldn't get it up over the fallen goaltender. And of course that good 2-on-1 situation in the short-handed situation does not result in a goal on the board. But Hanlon now being looked at by the Detroit trainer, and we could have our 3rd goaltender.
He doesn't look like he's ready to play.
He is getting helped out by, yeah, he looks like he might have got cut inside the mouth, Gene, but he's going to return.
Those defensemen are dangerous.
And goalies are tough.
That Huber fell on Frosty last week in the game at the Garden and put him out of action. 1:46 remain. Let's pick up the penalty, by the way, as the Red Wing trainer looks on. Craven 36 minutes on the air. The Flyers now have 17 of the game's 31 penalties. Now Prop along with McCrimmon and Howe. O'Connell there with Norwood, and up front they go Gallant with Ashton and Yzerman. Puck drop, and Yzerman turns into Poulin, and that allows Norwood to come right through the crease, scoot behind the Red Wing net and out the left side, and right wing it to Yzerman at center ice. At the red line, looking down the right wing corner, looking for Gallant. He's tied up by Howe. Puck kicks around to McCrimmon. McCrimmon, a weak clearance up on the left side. O'Connell keeps it in, puts it right back to Poulin. He steers away from Ashton and has it kicked right out in front. And then there goes Gallant trying to go back to the point, but Norwood had vacated that spot. But with a soft pass was able to pick it up, then go back to O'Connell, who can bring it. That's cut down in front. Picked up. Look out, Gallant with a shot over the top of the net. This time Poulin should get it down the ice past O'Connell to center ice. We're into the last 9 minutes of play, second period, with a minute remaining now on the penalty to Craven. Red Wings look through at the Flyer line, but nice play taken away from Gallant. Roll up to Poulin, little reverse to Howe, and Howe will come through into the zone along the left wing side. Wants to spin around Norwood, and then is taken down, and Norwood covers the puck as Howe will go off, and now it is Crossman on with Marsh, and Derek Smith with Poulin, and as the Red Wings penetrate.
Teeth.
Yes. Red Wings penetrate. A reverse pass. O'Connell keeps it in at the right point. A wraparound dugout behind the net. Probert looking to center it. Tied up as well behind is Adam Opes. 2 Flyers in there, and then Barr comes to break it free. Goes back the other way. Fighting for it is Crossman. The Red Wings take it off. Whistle it back to the left point to Norwood. 20 seconds left in the power play along the right side. Oates into the corner. He's got Barr in front. He's got O'Connell back at the points with Norwood. There's Oates right into the circle to the side of the net. Back to Oates, a shot! And Hextall covered it. And oh my, if Oates doesn't, if he goes up high, he might have one. But he put it right down where Hextall was positioned.
Hextall waited for the shot, though. He made his play after. On Saturday, he was going down before the shot was made, but it was a perfect give and go work between Probert and Adam Opes. Fake shot was Freeze, Crossman. Probert just moved it back, and now Hextall's right there. Then he goes down after the shot was taken. There's no hole there. He was just trying to get it on the net, and Hextall comes up with another big save for Philadelphia. Detroit's had 17 shots in the game. They haven't been able to dent the armor of Ron Hextall, and of those 17, they've had a number of pretty good scoring opportunities.
What's Carson and Kerr talking with Hextall about?
What's going to happen tomorrow?
Yeah, they got a day off where you want to
relax.
Carson, Samuelson, and Marsh. The Red Wings go Barr, Oates, and Probert to jam the net, and Norwood has been back at that point with Veach on all the power plays almost throughout. Rip around to Probert behind the net. Has nowhere to go. Comes back to the right point. Veach looks. And that was a shot that was more of a directed pass into the corner as the penalty is over to Craven. Flyers kill 5 for 5 as the puck is jammed up in the corner to the right of Hextall. Samuelson in there with Oates. And he gets the standoff, and the Flyers get a
2-0 score. We have 7:44 remaining in the second period. Flyers in the lead.
Red Wings in the first period lost Rick Zombo and goaltender Stefan on game misconduct. The Flyers lost Rick Tocchet. Laid down into the Red Wing zone. Out there is Dave Lewis along with Veach. And the Red Wings springing out of their zone, but Dobbin back checking nicely. Rips the puck through past the Red Wing defense, and Mark Kumpel alongside Hanlon, who's come in and played extremely well. Given only 1 goal, and that was a perfect shot by Timmy Kerr on the power play. Outlet, they tried to get past Marsh. And there's a play at center ice. Eklund penetrates, has nowhere to go. Host of white jerseys for Red Wings players at their line, and they take the puck out of behind their net, up on the right wing, and clear it all the way down. And the trailing official says no icing, and there should be, and it didn't go over the goal line, and the Flyers put it up at center. Eklund knocked it down with his glove, controls, and starts up through at center ice at the Red Wing line. Into the zone, drops off, drive, and that's off the stick of Dave Lewis up into the end seats. The shot generated by Philadelphia's Derek Smith.
Nice.
Teams this year and by individual players, and we've mentioned it earlier this week, but Tim Kerr is only 4 behind the league leader Gretzky. That adds added impressiveness and stature to the 57 goals he scored this year. Puck taken by the Flyers at the point, shot in front and followed up by Darryl Stanley. Blocked into the corner. Mellanby behind the net is bumped a couple of times by O'Connell. Stanley is in there. The puck comes out of that corner. In front, right there was Daniel. Oh, and Darryl Stanley was set up perfectly. Had the wrist shot and fanned, and here come the Red Wings. O'Connell up the middle along with Gallant and Koser, and then Gallant mishandles it center ice. Drives it in, and that should be an offside unless the Flyers bring it out cleanly, and they do. Crossman up the middle. Right winging a pass off the glove of Gallant, taken and slapped in by Mellanby. Ricochets to the left of Hanlon, who has the stick in the left hand, catches with the right. And then there's a big check missed behind the net on DeLorme by Stanley. As Koser up into the Philadelphia zone looking for Yzerman. The Flyers pop it into the neutral zone, and it's hand passed into the seats by DeLorme faceoff.
He was tied for third in that. Now he's got to be second. And those are very important statistics when you look at goal scorers. Getting the important goals.
Flyers shoot it up into the Red Wing zone. Forechecking is propped, knocked down by Norwood. Puck loose behind the cage. And they clear it past Kerr and up on the left side and sent out by Probert to center ice. Up the middle at the Philadelphia line is Sean Burr. Down that left side, looks for the trailer. Higgins in front, but it kicks off the skate past Ashton. There's a centering play, and right there, the Flyers Kerr. With Howe knocking it up ice on the deflection. Kerr into the zone. Big check on the beach behind the Red Wing net. Took his fence, and the puck is shut out by the Red Wings with 5:27 remaining second period. 2-0 Philadelphia. Puck at center, and the player coming off the bench had it hit him in replacing the player going on very close to too many men on the ice. Puck shot in the Philadelphia zone, and now the game that was played at such a fever pitch for so long has gotten a slack time here, but that figured. Nobody could keep up that pace. Puck driven into the zone for Philadelphia. Might point out that last year, we'll pick that up in another thing about Kerr. Over the line bar, down that right side, shot wide of the net. Hextall steers to the Philadelphia defensive right side. Samuelsson looks to make a play. The Red Wings try to come out of that corner. Sammy breaks it up. The Red Wings do come out. Klima in front, a short side shot, and Hextall covered it. Flyers outlet on the right side. Here they come. Derek Smith threw down that right wing looking for Brian Dobbin. He takes it behind the net. Has no play as O'Connell wraps him up smartly. The puck kicks back under both of them. Dobbins falls on the puck, and we get a stoppage of play. Has Carson on, along with Mellanby and Stanley, Samuelsson and Marsh. Red Wings have O'Connell, along with Yzerman, Probert, and Kocur. Puck deep in the Flyer zone. Marsh pivots, grabbed by Kocur, and then still gets it out off O'Connell's stick to center ice. He's grabbed, almost taken down by Lindsey Carson, who released just in time. Lest there be that penalty, and then Hextall outlets. Stolen away by Yzerman. Right circle drive, blocked by Marsh. Back to Yzerman, to O'Connell with a shot, and Hextall covered it. And then it kicked off him by Kocur. There we go, Kocur now, and Lindsey Carson.
Every time Detroit players grab a hold of a Flyer when they get joring away. Now, Kocur, one of the tough guys in the league, is landing some good right hands on Lindsey Carson. But that, I don't think they're telling blows. They're both getting in there. And now the linesman will separate the two. But again, it was Kocur who bumped into Hextall as he was out there. And that's what they're doing. They're not running at him and they're not interfering with him, but they're bumping him every time he comes out of that crease to clear that puck. Kocur going to the penalty box, as is Lindsey Carson, and it looks like with 4:02 remaining that they might just go to the penalty, or pardon me, their dressing rooms.
All right, with that stoppage, 4:02 remain. Second period from the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. 2-0 Philadelphia.
Coming at 15:58, it'll carry over into the third period.
Back to the point. There's a shot high off Hextall's shoulder, popped behind the net. Yzerman trying to get away from Kerr's check, feeds it, and Howe gets it off. Poulin, and he turns and sends it up at center ice. The Flyers' 18th penalty of the game. For Detroit, their 15th. For Carson, 138 minutes. And for Kocur, he now has 214. Puck in the Red Wing zone. Flyers in this period have had 4 shots, a game total of 19, and the Red Wings have had 5, a game total of 18, after there were 28 shots in the first period. Flyers chip it into the zone with 3:26 remaining, second period. I think the game plan obviously now is make sure you don't lose any part of this lead. Yzerman spins away from Prop down that left side, gets right past McCrimmon into the corner, centering pass, and it's taken off by the Flyers and lifted high in the air to center ice. And it hits Lee Norwood on the back. Kerr takes it at center into the zone. Quick shot just to the left of Hanlon, and he had him fooled. He had him leaning, and then Kerr is taken into the corner, and there's going to be a penalty against Gilbert Delorme.
Pucking, and again, it's finally coming against Tim Kerr. But boy, did he ever have a lot on that wrist shot, and it's been a deadly one for Kerr as he scored 2 goals with the wrist shot. One from out of the top of the circle, the first from on a rebound, but Kerr just ripped it, had Glenn Hanlon beat to the stick side. Crazy bounce off the end boards, and as he was going to the play, that's when Delorme pulled down Tim Kerr. And the Flyers will get their third power play opportunity. As we mentioned, they're 2 for 2. I want to remind you that there's a number of limited view tickets still available for the Flyers' first 4 home.
Detroit, Delorme now with 43 minutes on the air. Flyers 2 for 2 on the power play, and they're looking for their third pop. To the point, shot blocked off, and nobody could find the handle except Detroit. They turn, get it to center ice, 2-on-1. O'Connell for the net. There he gets the pass, shot, and line to the left of Hextall, or he might have got a piece of it behind. Another shot, rebound in front, and unable to get a hook there. Wow, Mel Bridgman, as the Red Wings came close short-handed to getting on the board. Very close. Now the Flyers dump it into the left of Hanlon. Dave Lewis tries to get it out. It bounces off to Bridgman, and Bridgman will come with Ashton. Pass knocked down at center ice and taken off by Daigneault. Daigneault turns, swings off to the left inside the Flyer line to Crossman. Cautiously up at center, off the far boards, blocked by the skate of Eklund. And he just gives it away into the Red Wing zone, and Dave Lewis ices it. The penalty came at exactly 3 minutes remaining in the period, so the Flyers have 1:12 remaining on the power play. Now they'd love to get one here and take 3-0 into that last period. into Prop. Prop can't get past O'Connell, and this time the Red Wings have stopped the Flyers without getting a chance to get it set up in the zone. Now they swing to the right, headmanning a pass into McCrimmon, drops it back to Eklund. He penetrates against Sean Burr. Now back to the point to Prop. Prop back to Eklund into the right circle. Now goes to the backside of the net to McCrimmon. McCrimmon back to the point to Prop. Prop with a shot up off the stick. Sean Burr, and he breaks down the left side. Howe cutting across. Boom, and he's buried on a check by Howe. And they boo, but that was just a body check that took man off the puck, and they roar. But here comes Eklund back the other way. They'll roar even more if the Flyers score on this ensuing drive. Eklund at the blue line. Works to the left side to Howe. Howe has Kerr in front. Looks. Lets it go to the far side. Shot wide. And that was deflected to the near corner and sent by Detroit to center ice.
What a play by Howe.
Yeah. The Prop couldn't get much on it. The puck at the line. Taken into the zone by Mellanby, and his shot deflected over the top of the net. 5 seconds left on the shorthand. The Kerr near side at the circle. The right side pass picked off and set up by Norwood to center ice. At the Philadelphia line against Marsh is Bridgman. Tries to penetrate. He does. Shot, and a good effort by Bridgman from the left circle. Covered by Philadelphia, and the Red Wings had the best chances on the Flyer power play with less than 50 seconds remaining in the period. 2-0 Philadelphia. Out to the near side. Marsh should pick it off. Shoots toward the Red Wing net. Gloved and whistled around to his own left side by Hanlon, and an outlet by Yzerman to center ice, taken off by Poulin. Lifts into the offensive left corner where Derek Smith goes charging with Veach. And the Red Wings again wrap it around to the far side. Poulin keeps it in, tries to put it to the net. Turnaround by Derek Smith, but couldn't get it cleanly, and it rolls to the Red Wing defensive right corner, where they drive it all the way down the ice. It goes in on Hextall with 17 seconds remaining in the third. Hextall to center, lifted into the Red Wing zone by Brian Dobbin. They'll chase it behind the net. 10 seconds left in the period. 2-0 Philadelphia. Broad in center, drives it in off the skate, right in on Hanlon, and that hit the skate of Norwood. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and long drive from center ice. Hextall. The referee, Mark Vines, Ron Asseltine, the linesman. Puck at center ice. Flyers defending left, shoot it into the Red Wing zone, and Gallant trying to go blue line to blue line for Yzerman. Lost it to Craven. His pass trying to find Mellanby up the slot is partially deflected and taken and sent by the...
Stanley and Mellanby have played very well, and they've been very aggressive around that puck and in the corners and along the boards. And they have... that's what you need. You need everybody going. You don't need just... You got to have 18 guys going, no matter how many shifts you get on the ice, even if it's only 1 or 2. You got to go at your best. And if you don't believe me, ask Bob Kelly. He was the best at it.
Well, Hartford will have to wait for another night, as they were beaten tonight in Montreal. Kerr, a little poke shot on that's covered. They were beaten in Montreal 3-2, so the Canadians draw within 3 points of first place Whalers, each with 2 games remaining on the weekend. Puck shot into the zone, kicked into the left wing corner. Prop has Kerr in front. Pass right through Kerr's kick. Picked up at the point by Daigneault, driven wide of Hanlon. He tips it off the boards. The Red Wings poke it up for control, and it's a hand pass called against Veach. Philadelphia will get an offensive right circle face-off.
Gina, just update on those statistics. Tim Kerr has taken over the lead in first goals. He had 9. He was tied with Doug Gilmour. Now he has 10. And he is third behind Curry and Mullen in game-winning goals with 9.
The stat we overlooked and we mentioned to point toward it near the end of the second period is that last year, either at or a little below the plus level last year, he's a plus 36 despite all the power play goals, which means up. He wins the draw offensive right side, but fires it on the backhander through past Samuelson all the way into the Flyer zone. Ashton in there with Covert. Flyers wrap it up on the left side to Poulin. Tries to deflect it out. Kept in by the Red Wings. Shot. Save and rebound. Again swept away, this time from Sean Burr and Probert as Hextall covered that. Poulin back up the ice into the zone along the near side hold. Wrap around behind the net. Picked up and centered. Kerr was right there, and it bounced off his stick. He was there alone. Now the Red Wings come back up, shoot it all the way down, and we'll have an icing against Detroit. We played 1:34 into a scoreless third period from Detroit. Flyers 2, Red Wings nothing.
Kelly, is that back stairway open up for me at the end of the game? I can go down the back stairway there?
Flyers get an offensive right circle faceoff. Gene Hart with a cheap Bob Taylor at Detroit. Record crowd, 19,757. Flyers lead 2-0 on a pair of first and second period power play goals by Tim Kerr, 2-0. Centering play, poked away from Eklund, and the Red Wings Oates brings it up on the left side. Through comes Klima. Reverse pass to Oates into the left wing corner, looks to center. Tapped behind the net by Hextall, and Eklund on the far side over skates. And he's buried on a check by Klima. So that's a check carrying a Swede, but the Flyers get it up to Howe, and Marsh rips it around behind Hanlon. There is Dobbin in there, but can't take it away. Darryl Stanley takes a garage at Norwood as the puck taken at center ice. Sent away from Klima to Philadelphia's McCrimmon and back to Eklund up at center ice. Tries to get past Oates, who snakes the puck away and starts through into the Philadelphia zone along the near wing. Pass taken away and sent but not out by McCrimmon. Point play by Norwood. No screen. Tipped over the top of the net late by Oates to the other point and sent by Norwood behind the Philadelphia net. Picked up in the near corner by Dobbin. Gives it away at the point to Norwood. Shot. Knocked down before it reached the net. In front screening was Oates. And the Flyers, after 3 tries, are able to get it through to Dobbin one-on-one against Norwood. Over the line. Looks. Shot. Wrong side. And Hanlon kicked out that left skate to keep it away. Red Wings cover behind their net. Norwood a wrap around the Klima. Collars at his own line, left wing. Starts up through the middle of the ice. Looking for some help. Has none. Dumps it offensive right corner. Hextall clears it away from the forechecking of Mel Bridgman. And Philadelphia comes up. Craven smartly through at center. Right past Yzerman into the Red Wing zone. Drops it to the point. Long shot that Hanlon reaches down to his right side to grab off the stick of Scott Mellanby. And then Flyer Murray Craven goes down behind the net with Darren Beek to the Red Wing defense.
This is an important time. The Flyers can keep Detroit in check for the first 7 or 8 minutes. Then it puts the pressure on the Red Wings, and you find that they'll have to open up. And it's a difficult thing for them to do, is they've not been able to do that often in this season. They're mostly playing the close games, the hard-fought games, and of course being able to sit on leads. But when you have to open up, and they have the goal scorers to do it, but it gets away from their original game plan.
Offensive left circle face-off. Philadelphia with Kerr has both goals. Tapped by Yzerman behind the Red Wing net. Wheeled up on the near side by Veach, but not out past McCrimmon. Flyers battle up the slot. Prop with a shot. Diving in front was the Red Wings. Gilbert Lelorme. And then we got McCrimmon and Gallant sticking one another. Gallant dropped the stick and was shoved off by linesman Mark Vines. We played 3:16 into a scoreless third period from Detroit. 2-0 Philadelphia.
Val Fournier's put the 2 players in the penalty box. McCrimmon of Flyers, Gallant of the Red Wings.
Detroit penalty number 17, Gerard Gallant, 2 minutes for roughing. The time of the penalty is 3 minutes, 16 seconds.
Here come the Red Wings out. Coincidental minors. They're skated full strength. Flyers try to clear out. Play in front. Open net. Shot wide. There's a centering play, and the Flyers break out. Pulling down that left wing, trailed by Prop. Kerr trying to pick up. Pulling in the corner to Prop. Shot wide. And the Red Wings quickly turn up on the near side and try to start away at center ice. And they lose the puck. Philadelphia picks it off and comes back the other way. Into the Red Wing zone. McCrimmon with 48 minutes on the air. His second penalty of the night. Gallant has had 3 penalties. He has 216 minutes. And in the game, the Flyers have 19 of the 36 penalties. Shot in past Hextall. Out of his left corner comes Marsh. Backhanded in off a body to Eklund. 1-on-3. Tries to move the puck through on the near side past Norwood, who takes him down with the stick. Then Delorme is bumped. Dobbin forechecking down that right side. Kicks the puck in the corner. Boom. Run into by Barr. Then Norwood is checked by Eklund. The puck kicks to the corner. Trying to keep it in. The Flyers do on the far side. And finally it's driven by Barr up ice and sent out by Hextall on the right. Kicked back off Dobbin's skate as the clearance was made. The Red Wings keep it in. Flyers had clear possession, and finally Norwood challenged at the Flyer line by Stanley has the kick off the stick all the way down the ice. And then we got another fight in the near corner. Dobbin and Barr.
Dave Barr happened away from the play.
Well, Dobbin went off, you recall, in a battle with Kosar as part of all that second period pyrotechnics. We have played 4:40 into the third period from Detroit, 2-0 Philadelphia.
Of the Flyers, Dave Barr will pick up penalties. Here's the call.
To make that 5 minutes for fighting. Detroit penalty number 22, Dave Barr. Also 5 minutes for fighting. Time of the penalty is 4 minutes, 40 seconds.
I don't think you'll see, Gene, any player, any team getting the extra penalty now. I would think it's going to be even up most of the time.
They called Brian Propp, but that was really Brian Dobbin. Flyers now have 20 of the game's 38 penalties, coincidental majors for fighting. Barr 66 minutes in the air, and Dobbin now with 12. He has 2 majors tonight. Gets a third. He's gone for the night. Anybody who picks up 3 majors gets an automatic gamer. Propp, Kerr, and Poulin for Philadelphia with Crossman and Howe. And it is the Red Wings out with Kumpel on one side, Ashton on the other, centered by Sean Burr. Puck in the zone, and the Flyers are able to get it out. 3-on-2 up the middle, right winging to Kerr. Kerr as Poulin breaks for the net up the middle. Shot right into the breadbasket of Lee Norwood, who covers it between the legs for the stoppage of play.
Norwood has made a number of fine defensive moves. We point back to that 2-on-1 that Propp, or Poulin and Kerr had on a shorthanded situation. He took away the pass. This time, he took away the shot from Tim Kerr on a 3-on-2 situation. A lot of it is positioning for defensemen. And of course, relying on your goaltender to be able to take that shot.
Bob, you recall earlier in the game I mentioned to you trivia about Bobby Clarke having the only hat trick in this series in the city of Detroit. Well, checking my records, that came on the 27th of December, 1982. And the goaltender, Greg Steffen, who didn't make quite 10 minutes and 4 seconds into this game before receiving a game misconduct. All right, Craven, Kerr, Carson, and Mellanby, along with Crossman and Howe. Flyers forechecking, putting it into the slot, goes back to Howe. Couldn't handle it. It's bounced through him and into center ice. Retreats away from forechecking of Yzerman. 2, cross the Craven, and he lets it slide into the zone. O'Connell is out there with Veach down that right wing side. Puck taken off and then drilled to center and sent all the way down by the Red Wings behind Hextall. Chased by Burr. Checked off the puck. They like that. Tied up in that far corner. The Flyers trying to dig it out and through past Mellanby to center right. Followed up into the zone by Howe. To Mellanby. Right circle drive. It just got on the outside of the left hand short side of Hanlon. Deflected wide. And in the corner, Veach trying to play out, looking for Ashton, but it's picked up instead by the Red Wings up the middle. Kumpel with a shot high off the glass behind Hextall, and Craven is able to slam the rebound out the center through the Red Wing defense and all the way down. They're going to call that an icing, as it appeared it split right through Delorme and O'Connell, with either one having a chance to make the play. 5:54 into a scoreless third period. 2-0 Flyers.
They had to skate backwards without having a play on that one. That went right by Mike O'Connell.
I asked him about the nephew, or the Uncle Tom. Remember the great quarterback? He says he lives now in Vermont. He's retired. Says the best release ever in the history of football.
Well, he still lives in the outskirts of Boston. Washington has defeated the Rangers 5-1.
That gives Washington a 3-point lead over the Islanders in the battle for second place. And now the Rangers cannot catch the Washington Caps, so it will either be third or fourth for New York, and they would have to win 2 and the Islanders would have to lose 2 for that to happen. And if the Islanders win tomorrow night, well, we got another battle here behind the play.
There we got
Samuelson and Klima.
California is going to call a penalty. You know, it's amazing. Why I'm chuckling is that now Joe Kosher's in there. I like to see Kosher take on somebody that might be able to be the same size. Stanley right there. Kosher just talking to Samuelson, but he isn't talking to Stanley. Kosher is taking on Brian Dobbin, taking on Lindsey Carson. Maybe it's the tough guy that he says he is and that he thinks he is. Take on a tough guy and prove it.
I would think the matching penalties that are coming up are two of the game's non-combatants, Mr. Klima and Mr. Samuelson. It comes at 6:03, and it will make this penalty now 40 penalties in the game, 21 to Philadelphia. These should be coincidental minors, probably for high sticking or roughing.
It really was a minor thing from what we've seen throughout this whole contest. But I think Fournier's just worried that something could erupt with this much time left. I don't think you'll see that, though. Detroit can't afford to if they want to have any designs on getting that point or 2 points and clinching that Norris Division title. They got to stay out of that penalty box.
For Philadelphia and Cleveland for Detroit. Well, 2 minutes for Hooker. Count those penalties. 6 minutes, 3 seconds.
Where that she'll get a double hook. Now Norwood penetrates to Koser. He's got a man in front. Shot partially put to the near side and shoveled out. Oh, the Flyers are 3-on-1. They've got Eklund along with Stanley and Mellanby. Eklund there, shot, save, and then Eklund couldn't shovel the rebound in as he had Hanlon out of position. Eklund behind, into the corner, in front. It slides through Darryl Stanley. Crossman picks it up along the right board to the side of the net. Coming out of that corner is Mellanby to Eklund. Eklund behind the net, rolls it to the side, and Hanlon pokes it back in the corner. Boy, the Flyers had insurance there and couldn't get it home past Hanlon, who's only been beaten since coming in at the 10:04 mark of the first period. Only been beaten by Kerr's power play goal early in the second.
That's what I was talking about, Gene. Detroit having to open things up now. You'll find that the Flyers could get 2-on-1 and 3-on-1 breaks.
They heard ice, and Dave Lewis touched up for that, but it was no icing, and the Red Wings had to scramble to get it out. Probert up the middle, runs into traffic, gets past Poulin to the far side, can't get past Howe. Then it's taken off his skates by Poulin, but Gallant in the right wing corner comes out of that corner. Behind the net to Yzerman. Beautiful check in there by Howe. They rip it up to the point. Lewis puts it around behind. Gallant's there. Back to Probert out of the corner. It's blocked. Looks for a stopper. It's popped up in the air over the backside of the net. Red Wings try to center. It's blocked again. Big thrust here in flurry by the Red Wings to try to get on the board. Behind the net, Yzerman centers. It's popped up in front. Probert trying to get a whack at it while it was in the air, working behind Howe's back. But the Flyers take it away and come into the zone along the right wing. Poulin over the line. Works to the left side. Man there, drive! And again, off the play by Kerr. Hanlon a big save as Kerr in for the hat trick. Yzerman that gets it up too far, or receiving it too far at center for Gallant. Missed should be an icing. With 12:09 remaining in a scoreless third period from Detroit, 2-0 Philadelphia. Bob Taylor just wrote down 3 numbers in front of me, and he said they played very well, and we're going to ask him to repeat that to you. Should be a secret. Behind the Red Wing net, Craven tried to center, blocked off. Gets it to the near side to Berube, on for the first time since that battle in the second period. Down goes Philadelphia's Craven in the corner. A dump pass taken away by the Red Wings, fed to the blue line. Marsh keeps it in, but then the Red Wings slide it up the center ice. And here comes Sean Burr over the line. Drops to Ashton with a shot. And Hextall grabs up into the crook of the left arm and hangs on.
Smart play. Detroit was charging, even though there was only 2 players and there was a number of Flyers back there. It's a key to hang on to that play, the puck at certain opportunities and at certain stages of the game. Right now, Detroit had an opportunity, the quick shot, a high shot, and Hextall makes the save, but the players, the defensemen, have their backs to the play. Now Hextall sees what's forming in front of him. Rather than dropping it down for Crossman where he could be really harassed by Burr or the other Detroit Red Wing coming into the play, he throws the puck, forces a face-off, and there's no chance of a mistake then.
You mentioned those 3 players, Bobby.
Mellanby, Dobbin, and Pellier Eklund have played very well in the nice time that they've received.
Mr. Stanley's been no slouch coming back from
I added that on at the end.
All right, Eklund is on with Mellanby and Craven. Defensively, Howe and McCrimmon. The Red Wings go out there with Klima, Oates, and Koser and O'Connell. They pinch in along the boards, keep it in, and whack it around behind the Flyer net. Nobody's in front as Howe tied up his man behind. Oates then tries to send it there. He's buried. Craven comes out of the corner, comes around behind, and works it to McCrimmon out of the Flyers' right side and up through past Mellanby. all the way down, and the Red Wings make a play at the left of the net. Again, a big crowd here, 19,759, 2-0 Philadelphia, near the halfway point of the third period. Flyers put it up, and here come the Red Wings through smartly on the pass. Look out. Oh, it's into the zone. Tap pass to Klima. Oh, he's right up the middle. Gets the play. Rolls it wide as he was checked off at the last second. And then Darryl Stanley turns, puts it back at the point. Red Wings keep it in. Can't make a play along the far side. Good play by Eklund. Then it's rolled into Gallant. Looks for a man in front. There he is. And he's taken down by Philadelphia's Eklund. That was Klima, but that was partially a dive too. As he
Partially, it was a complete dive.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to be too much of a homer. Up at center, Red Wings 2 down, Klima into the zone. He's such a fine player with a puck, and you always have to be wary about the quick thrust that he can make to set up a goal. Puck is deflected out of the rink, and we'll have a neutral zone face-off with 10:30 left, third period, 2-0.
Time for us to remind you that single seats and limited view tickets are still available for Sunday's final regular season home game against the New York Islanders. The presentation of the Bobby Clarke Trophy, the MVP of the team, Barry Ashby Trophy, the best defenseman, will be handed out then. You can pick up these single seats at the Spectrum, Showcase stores, and any Ticketron outlets, while the limited view seats can be purchased only at the Spectrum. So come on out, see who wins the hardware.
A name has come to fore for the Islanders. We've been waiting for him, and under the pressure of the team's demise scoring is Pat LaFontaine, now up to 38 goals and becoming a leader. The Red Wings in the offensive corner stop. Samuelson gets a nice screen to take away Gallant by Philadelphia's Marsh and send it up through to Kerr at center ice. To Samuelson making his annual rush. Drops to Kerr with a slam shot from the top of the right circle. Up off the stick of Joey Kocur into the end seats.
Anticipation and reading of the play is an important thing that scouts look for, and what you expect in a hockey player, and that time Delorme read it perfectly. Samuelson, of course, read the play as well. Now, he moved up very quickly on the offense where he saw the opportunity to take that break and move up on the play.
How was Bob Mason's shutout, or Pete Peters' shutout, broken in New York tonight, Bobby?
1959, one of my favorite players, Thomas Sandstrom.
Gets his 40th goal with 1 second remaining in the game. All right, Berube left, Carson right, centered by Craven, along with Samuelson and Marsh. Yzerman, Gallant, and Barr for the Red Wings, and Delorme on with Norwood. Delorme leading the rush at center. Offensive left corner dump. Barr in after it. So goes Yzerman. Looks to center. Back to the point. Nobody there to handle it, and it scoots all the way down. Less than 10 minutes remaining in regulation. 2-0 Philadelphia. Now we're at that point of attrition where, with the heat and the intensity of the game and all that's happened, the players have to get that little bit of extra. To the near side, Hextall, a nice move away from Yzerman, right up to Craven at the line, and his pass deflected at center. Chipped back by Norwood to the Red Wing defensive colleague, Delorme, who shoots from center ice. Hextall blocks and swings it behind for Samuelson. It cuts back against the flow of play, wheels it up on the near side, and it's taken by Dobbin, lost, and then gained at center ice. Flyers have a quick 3-on-3. Dobbin is there. Shot and reading it all the way was Norwood to block, and turning quickly. Up ice comes Yzerman at the Philadelphia line. Penetrates, looks. Now goes back the other way, and it's deflected by Dobbin, who stayed with the check very strongly. Deflected to center ice. O'Connell through to Ashton. In along the right side. Looks to drop a pass, and there's Eklund back checking where he belongs. Flyers working up on the left side, and they, like the Red Wings last week, are showing how it's done defensively when you have the lead. Less than 9 minutes remaining in the third period. There's a break into the zone. Almost through for Ashton. Flyers just pump it to center ice. Shots in this period. The Flyers have 6, a game total of 25. The Red Wings have 4. Oh, look out. The rebound off the side. Pumped in front. And there was that gasp a minute of expectation for Red Wing fans and of distress for Flyer fans, but that was quickly erased both ways as Philadelphia got it out of trouble. With 8.5 minutes remaining third period, 2-0. Power play goal in the first by Kerr is 56. Power play goal by Kerr in the second is 57. Puck in. Hextall takes it. Nice drop back to Howe from Prop. And away to center ice comes Philadelphia. Prop lifts it into the offensive right corner. Kerr out with Poulin and Prop, McCrimmon and Howe. O'Connell on for the Red Wings with Veach, and up front they go Probert with Ashton, who missed the puck at the line, and Mel Bridgman. Puck at center ice. Delorme there tries to slop it back in. Does. It'll be a delay offside, waved off as the Red Wings clear the zone and change on the go. Kerr at center ice through to Prop. Prop 1-on-4 over the line. cuts to the middle, overskated the puck, and almost sent a pass into Kerr inadvertently, and the Red Wings back at center ice. Oates, a right wing pass into the zone. Defenseman Norwood tries to drop back. A turn by Oates. Back to the point. Drive by DeLorme. Hit the post on the long side and turned right out under Hextall's skate for the stoppage of play. DeLorme had the proximity goal and missed by a twit. 7:36 remaining, third period. From Detroit, 2-0 Philadelphia.
A twit. A twit. What's a twit?
That's an English teeny bit.
Oh.
You notice I clearly got the W in there.
Unbelievable.
Well,
Gilbert Delorme, who can really shoot a puck, had a full head of steam up coming in and got the pass, and it came right off the goalpost. And as Gene mentioned, it was just by a twit from not going in. What's a twit?
a twit, my friend, is 1/2 of a tad.
Oh, okay.
2 twits make a tad.
All right. 2-0 Philadelphia. 7:36 remains in the third period, and the crowd here is starting to cheer, trying to get the Red Wings to get something going.
Marsh and Samuelson, puck popped up in the air, and Hextall, quick as a cat, like picking cherries there, catching flies with his hand, grabbed that one, and we get another Red Wing offensive right circle face-off.
Boy, the concentration. If you watch the goaltender, when those deflections are coming and they were able to follow it, you can tell that the concentration is at their best. If it's deflecting wide on them and they're not seeing the shot or they're not knowing exactly where it's going, and the concentration's off a little bit. But tonight, Hextall's has been right on the money.
It's not what you do during a bad game as he had Saturday. It's what you do the next one.
You bet. You can come back from it, and boy, has he come back in spades.
Oates, Bar, Klima, Flyers, Samuelson behind the net. Wheels it up on the near side. Good check by Philadelphia. Breaks the puck free to center ice. That was Craven tying up Norwood. Red Wings drive it right back behind Hextall. Charging his Bar, so Hextall goes up on the boards. It bounces and kicked away from Delorme, who tried to go into the zone again on the flies. He did on the shot to break it past Craven. But Philadelphia was there to stop, and then Samuelson at center ice from the offensive side of the red line drills it into the Red Wing zone. Nice play by Mellanby to steal. Right in front, shot, what a save, and boy, somebody is hurt in front as he was checked and fell back on his back and hit his head hard. And I'll tell you, Bobby, without a helmet, that could have been very serious.
Good check by Norwood, but Carson has to take the check in order to get that shot on goal, and that's exactly what happened. Just as he took the shot on goal, Norwood hit him.
What a check. And now while we find out how Lindsay is, we'll tell you 6:59 remain in regulation from Detroit. 2-0 Philadelphia.
You talk about paying the price to score a goal. Mellanby makes a nice play, but as Lindsay is stretched right out there, Norwood comes in and gets him with a solid shoulder. The shoulder hit him on the chin, knocks him to the ice, but a good solid body check by Norwood. But
56 in the first, 57 in the second at 45 seconds, and it's 2-0. The highlight, 24 penalties in the first period. The goaltender for Detroit, Greg Steffen, ejected along with Rick Zombo, and Philadelphia's Rick Tocchet. There have been in the game 40 penalties. Shots at 26-24 Philadelphia. O'Connell up the middle. Pass blocked off nicely by McCrimmon. He slaps it into the Detroit end. Philadelphia has Eklund out along with Darryl Stanley left, Dobbin right with McCrimmon and Howe. The Red Wings go Veach and O'Connell in up front. They have Gallant, Yzerman. There's a steal again and shifted in. Dobbin skating after it. Veach beats him to it in the corner, and the puck kicks away to Yzerman. He tries to go, and a nice play by Dobbin to take it away, and a backhander right in front. Kicked away from Eklund. That shot tried by Darryl Stanley, who's had 4 good scoring pops on Glenn Hanlon tonight. Then the Red Wings lift at the center. That could be a high stick violation if it's touched up, and it is by Brent Ashton. Play will come all the way back into the Red Wing zone with 6:20 remaining in regulation. 2-0 Philadelphia. 6:20 remain in this period. 2-0 Philadelphia. And we'll tell you that she's as beautiful as ever brave. She's Linda Carter, and she's fighting crime as only Wonder Woman can. The action is tough, but this woman is even tougher. Don't miss Wonder Woman. Weeknights at 6 and only on Philly 57. Mr. Taylor has a little mic difficulty over there, so I took the opportunity to do that. Indian making war signs over there. Into the zone, right side. Poulin penetrates. Don't want to make any foolish gambles. To Prop in front, spins away, and the Red Wings come up. There is Gallant trying to get past McCrimmon, who keeps it at the Red Wing line, and it's driven then on the loose play by Prop deep in. Red Wings get it up on the far side. Picking up the check. Ashton is Philadelphia. Getting back there is Poulin. Howe has the puck, right-siding in the neutral zone for Kerr. Kerr looking. Now check, comes back the other way to Prop. Prop didn't read it at first, then turns and drives it in, and the Red Wings have to pursue with 5:40 remaining in the third period for 2-0 Philadelphia. Now the Flyers keep it in, and the Red Wings now look very frustrated, as were the Flyers in Philadelphia last Saturday. Puck in the corner. Ashton has a hook now on Philadelphia. In that corner, battling for the puck. Out of that corner comes Arson in front. Now loses the puck. Turns, keeps it in at the line. Turnaround shot wide. That was Mellanby. And it's collected away, and Gallant comes to center ice for the Red Wings, rolling it to the flyer line. Daigneault takes it off there.
That showed the strength of Mellanby, team.
Flyers at center ice, penetrating down that right side. This is Lindsey Carson at the hash marks, trying to center. Broken down, the Flyers take it, protected along. Oh, and a bad play. Back passes up the ice to give the Red Wings a 3-on-2. Into the zone, right side. There goes Barr with a shot. He hit the short side post, and again it carried back under goaltender Hextall. So the Flyers gave it away, and the Red Wings almost stole a goal.
You've got to keep the puck in deep when you're controlling the play. And the Flyers didn't. Craven passes it backwards blindly, which had nobody there. It created an opportunity for Detroit with only 4:51 remaining. You do not want to give them that many chances. That shot by Barr hits the short side goal post, and Hextall's had 3 of them, but it's part of the goaltender's equipment, that goal post. But boy, when you have that puck in that offensive zone and you're up with late in the third period, you don't make blind passes to the point. You keep the puck in deep if you're not sure exactly where the play is supposed to go. You put it in softly, keep it down in behind the goal line.
Despite Mr. Post, the Red Wings, thanks to Philadelphia's superb defense, have only mustered, Bobby, 11 shots over the last 2 periods after picking up 13 in the first period alone. All right, Klima's on with Barr and Oates. Delorme back with Norwood, and the Flyers trying to get it out of the zone. Nice play by Delorme to knock down a clearing pass, shifting it up on the near side. Flyers battling. There's Eklund stop, and Norwood from the point. Shot, and Hextall deflects to the far side. Then from the point again, and Hextall kicks it to the near side. Both of them directed by Delorme. Then Klima's tied up. Red Wings back to Norwood's going to try again through a screen. Save by Hextall, and they just now look, we can't get it past the big guy.
He's hot. He's sharp, and he has Lady Luck going with him. And that is a combination that makes it very difficult to beat. Peter Klima. They say he likes cars. Well, I understand that he should, because he's not one of the better drivers. He's had a couple of wrecks and has had to pick up a number of new cars. He does a ginger ale commercial here for one of the local ginger ales, and he does it in Czech with an interpreter, and it's kind of funny. So I guess it doesn't matter if you can speak English or not, or speak it well. If you're a recognizable figure, you can endorse products.
Money counts the same in any language.
You got it.
Play cleared out past the Red Wing defense to center ice. 4:20 remaining, but games can change so suddenly in this league. The Flyers dump it to center ice. Norwood up looking for Klima. Then it's passed and deflected away to Poulin. Drops it off smartly to Prop into the zone, trying to find Kerr. Broken up Kerr right there, and as he went in between the left and right circle, it was just swept off his stick by Veach as the Red Wings back, rolling it down the near side, and boy, Oates is just grabbed by McCrimmon, and that's the same thing that frustrated the Flyers last Saturday. When you bust in, everybody's got a grip on you. To the far corner, Kerr is checked, comes back behind, trying to center his Ashton, then it kicks to the open left defensive side from Philadelphia, and then it's sent by Kerr to center ice. Red Wings shoot it right back in. 3:35 remaining in regulation. Ashton is out there now, along with Yzerman, O'Connell, Probert, and Delorme with the puck, and Philadelphia counters. with Eklund, Dobbin, and Darryl Stanley. Defensively, they now bring out Marsh with Samuelson. Puck then dribbled back and forth over the Red Wing line and finally shot back in offside with 3:20 remaining. Third period from Detroit. Flyers 2 and the Red Wings no score. Boy, a dogged game, huh?
They had Eddie Van Impe out with the defense on Tuesday.
We know what we're doing. We're learning now. Eh? Clock just went off. There's 3-something left, wasn't it? 3:52. Well, if we take the scoreboard official, Bobby, the game is over.
They are having problems with the clock. It just went out.
All right, all 0 on the clock. Now they put up the Flyer score on the left 2. And I think, Bobby, when we broke, there was 3:52 remaining in regulation or thereabouts.
I think there was even less than that.
3:27. I think there was 1:16, maybe 40. Well, they're putting up 3:20.
But
they're going to take it at that.
I think it was right around that time, 3:20. Very little time left. Gene, we should take the opportunity now to wish Mike Finocchiero's mother a happy birthday. Mike Finocchiero, of course, our producer on Hockey Tele. And
sure, 'tis only we say hello to the old lady from the old sod. Happy birthday, 'tis you, Mrs. Finocchiero. they are Irish, aren't they? Or Italian?
no, yeah, they are. So, happy birthday.
Bono birthday, la mama. What's
Bono
birthday?
Birthday?
What's birthday?
I think it's
Italiano.
Is it close to Twit?
Okay, well, she knows it came from our hearts. 3:20 remaining in regulation. We're set to start. This game now is well past 3 hours in duration. We've had a fight. We've had a goaltender thrown out. We've had many discussions.
First period took over an hour alone. An hour and 8 minutes or 4 minutes, something like that. Now they're talking about how much time is left on the clock, I think.
Jacques Demers is very placid behind the bench. He's making no overt signs that he wants it changed. 3:20 remaining. The referee, Ron Fournier, has done a solid job under very difficult situation this evening. Mark Mines and Ron Asseltine have assisted very capably. That's an understatement. Red Wings up on the right wing to the Flyer line, and Marsh slaps it through. Philadelphia coming up the other way into the zone. Right winging a pass, and that was intended for Dobbin, taken behind the net by Stanley. Bumped by Probert. Bumped again. Puck still behind the Red Wing net. Delorme tries to dig out. He's grabbed by Stanley. Probert trying to kick it free. This time he bumps into Philadelphia's Eklund, and then Stanley finally knocked down as the clock shows less than 3 minutes remaining in regulation. Outlet to center. Samuelson takes. Working back at center ice. We lost you for a minute, and the Red Wings dump it into the zone to the right of Hextall. Samuelson around behind, a wrap up on the far side. Flyers don't get it out. Delorme, a shot cut off before it reaches the net. Samuelson clears it out to the blue line. The Flyers slap it up in the air. The Red Wings behind Eisenman. Look out, he's going to come in front. Back to the point. Delorme, point blank range. Score! Flyers coughed up the puck when they had 3 chances to get it out. Delorme, on his last drive from that position, hit the post. This time blew it under the crossbar over Hextall's left shoulder, and it comes at 17:39. And now the Flyers' margin of error has been cut to 0. And for the defenseman Delorme, it is his 4th goal of the year. Eisenman will get the 1 assist, and the Red Wings within striking distance. If you had been wondering when the last time the Flyers had a road shutout, it occurred on the 12th of February, 1986, a year ago a month, at Buffalo, when Bob found the area. Now the Flyers have to battle for their lives. Puck chipped at the line. Every rush now can tie the game. Puck into the zone. Kerr has it taken away by Veach. We're down to 2 minutes remaining in regulation. 2-1. As the Red Wings come to center ice, trying to roll it in, they do. There's a pursuit by Klima, held up by McCrimmon. Back pass to the near side, and Poulin gets it up through to center ice to Kerr. Kerr, head-manning prop over the line. Kerr for the net. Nice breakup of the play by Veach. And the Red Wings turn, and Lee Norwood up the center ice to Gallant, trying to roll it through Howe, and the Flyers come back the other way. The Red Wings take it off. The Flyers get it right back at center ice, chip it into the Red Wing zone. Delorme's fourth from Yzerman at 17:39. But now we have the tension as the Red Wings ice it. That should be the call, as Samuelson is first to reach it behind the Philadelphia. Nope. Or in this Olympia. They've never had a shutout in Detroit. All two Philadelphia shutouts came in Philadelphia in 76 and 77. The Red Wings all came, the three of them. Offensively, Howe and McCrimmon. And the Red Wings breaking up now. Here they come. Gallant at center ice has the puck taken away. Flyers turn into the neutral zone, and Mellanby slaps it in. They've got Veach back with Norwood, and up front, Gallant with Yzerman and Bob Probert. Probert to try to get some action stirred in front of the net. Now the outlet. Every thrust now for Detroit can tie it. Up they come to the middle. Long shot, and Hextall makes the save, heading for the bench. As Gallant lost the stick, heading for the bench is goaltender Glenn Hanlon, as the Flyers behind the net. The Red Wings with the extra forward, and they get just what they wanted. They got the extra man out there and forced the face-off, so now they can set up their 6-on-5 attack with some discipline. And is a game, oddly enough, that we led in Montreal 2-0. We came back to tie and win it 4-3, and he says then they believed we could win. All right, Philadelphia with Kerr, Crossman, Marsh, Poulin, and Prop. The Red Wings have Ashton on with Probert. He'll try to jam the middle. Yzerman and Gallant, they'll try to get it back to Norwood or Veach at the point. 58 seconds in regulation. Now they turn. Flyers rushing to the blue line, and they get it out along the near side to center. Nobody could cut off either Marsh or the other Philadelphia players. It's dumped up the center. Gallant throw at the Flyer line. Right-winging a pass to Ashton. Trying to put it in front, and a good save by Hextall as they try to get some action. And the Flyers jam it out all the way down the ice as we have 38, 37, 36 seconds. Veach picks it up behind the net away from Prop. Fires it to center ice. Poulin picks it off. Drives it back into the Red Wing zone. Prop clears out to make it an onside play. We have less than a half minute remaining in regulation. 25 seconds. The Red Wings shoot it all the way down. And do they say it's an icing? Yes. Hextall is signaling that. And the play will be called with 19 seconds. The Red Wings now have to put their cooler back in and have to try to generate offense. Prop on with Crossman and Marsh. Yzerman, O'Connell, Gallant. Defensive left circle, 19 seconds remaining. Back to Poulin. Tries to ship it in the far corner, does. They've got Ashton up there along with Yzerman and Gallant. Puck at center ice. Red Wings try to get the goalie out. They do. A pass down that right side. Poulin cuts it off. Prop cuts it off, and then the Red Wings trying to go back.